Alrighty. So, I want to kind of pick up where I left off with my piano lessons. I know we got through all the different chords, the scales, the Nashville number system, all that fun stuff, your basic chords. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to build on that a little bit. So I want to start back up with talking about 7 chords. So there's a couple different kinds of 7 chords. Your first one is going to be your major 7 chord. So when you're talking about your major 7 chord, you've got your regular C major chord. When you're talking about a major 7, this is where you really need to know your scales, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that's being added onto it. Now you can either play that like that, your 1, 3, 5, and 7, or you can add it on at the bottom, which makes it a little bit easier because, you know, the C would be your 8 or your 1, and then it's only a half step down to your 7. So what you could do very easily is just use your thumb here and play them both together and get kind of that dissonant sound right next to each other, which sounds pretty cool to me. It's a little bit of a different sound than this, depending, of course, on what you're going for. So that's going to be your major 7, which you're going to see a capital M next to it, capital M 7, or sometimes it'll say major 7 written out, or Maj 7, M-A-J 7. Now, when it comes to this next 7, this is for minor chords. So this is what's called the minor 7. So when you're looking, let's go through the C major scale real quick while we're at it. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of course. So when you're playing through your scales, this would be your 1 chord that we talked about, which is a major chord. Well, because the 1 is right here, your 7 is going to be the next note down in the scale. So for your 1 chord, it's going to be a major 7. Now when you go up to your 2 chord, it's going to be a minor chord. It's going to be D minor. It's going to be your 2 chord. And because the next note down is a whole step from your first note, it's going to be a whole step there. That is a minor 7. It's going to be the same thing. Let's go up to your 3. Your 3 is also going to be a minor. It's going to be E minor. The next note's up in the scale from each point. And then the next note down from that, of course, is a whole step down, which gives it the minor 7. And then you go up to your 4, F major, which, because it's the 4, your 3 is only a half step down, so that makes your 4 the major 7. Now the next kind of 7 chord I want to talk about is your 5 chord, because your 5 chord is a little bit different than your 1 and your 4. Your 5 chord is going to be what's called either a dominant 7, a major minor 7, or sometimes it's simply referred to as 7. So if you ever see, we're doing G here, the chord, your G is going to be your 5. And so you could either say just G7 written out, just G7, or sometimes you'll see G, capital M, lowercase m, 7, which I don't see that very often, but I have seen it. And then the third way you'll see it written, I've actually seen people do this, which is kind of dumb. I don't know why they do it. I don't even actually think it's a thing. But some people will write G, D-O-M 7, or dominant 7, which is ridiculous. That's just a lot to write down. And so I don't see it that often, obviously. But what it is because it's your 5 here is a whole step down to the next note down. It's the minor 7 there. It's a whole step, but it's on a major chord. which is why it's sometimes referred to as the major minor 7. Excuse me. So we got our major 7, major 7, minor 7, got your other major 7 there. Then you got your dominant 7, or your major minor 7, or your just G7 there. And then your 6 is going to be minor, so that's going to be a minor 7. But now when we get to the 7 chord, the 7 chord is going to be diminished. With diminished chords, there are going to be 2 kinds of 7 chords. There's going to be your fully diminished 7 chord and your half diminished 7 chord. For your fully diminished 7 chord, you've got your diminished chord here. For your, let's start with a half diminished. With a half diminished 7, it's kind of weird. It's just going to be a regular whole step up. Just a regular whole step up. Now when you get to the fully diminished 7, it's actually going to be 1, 2, 3. So instead of being a major 7, a minor 7, it's going to be a fully diminished 7. So now the reason it's called a fully diminished 7 chord is because the 4 notes you're playing, A flat, G sharp, B or C flat, D, and F, or E sharp, all these notes, this contains 4 different chords. You can have your A flat, G sharp, fully diminished 7 in here. You can have your B or C flat, fully diminished 7 in here. You can have your D, fully diminished 7 in here. And you can have an F or E sharp, fully diminished 7 in here. And so it's fully diminished because no matter what order you play the notes in, you're playing 4 different chords all at once. Those are the different 7 chords that you're going to need to know. Hopefully that was helpful for you. And if you have any questions about that, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you. You have a great day.